Hello, is that Carl?
Yeah, this is Kyle. How are you?
I'm good. This is Glenn.
Pleasure to talk to you. Really an honor.
Oh, thank you.
Loving this record, The Knowledge. It's so great to have you guys back. And I know the last record was sort of looked at as that, like, the comeback record or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this, to me, this is like, okay, this is real. It wasn't just that one-off thing. And I was wondering, for you, does it feel like, okay, now that's we can stop talking about that part. This is back to business officially.
Yeah, very much feels like that. When we got the band back together, let me see, 10 years ago now, I was still touring with the Fluffers. In fact, we played in town. It's one of my memories is playing in Louisville with the Fluffers. And indeed, we sort of integrated the Fluffers into Squeeze. And, this band feels like it has a connection to the past, but really it's all about what we can do now. We can do things that Squeeze has never been able to do before, and it feels really exciting, and we're going in different directions, and I'm enjoying that.
And that's always a tricky thing. I mean, on one hand, you've sort of got, well, I guess you could have done it at any time, and God knows that you guys have tried plenty of different sounds over the years, but now that you've sort of said, okay, this is chapter 2, it's sort of almost like a restart. It kind of gives you the freedom to stretch out. I mean, you're not so beholden to the old sounds, are you?
No, I don't think so. I think that, we approached this record with a completely blank slate, and we had, a couple of lineup changes in the band too. And that also sent us off in a different direction. The only thing that I knew that I wanted to do was to cut the record as live as possible. So, there's very few overdubs on the record, the horns and some backing vocals. A few of the vocals I redid, and some I left from live vocals because there's sort of great sense of urgency about it, I think.
It's really fun to listen to it, and there are several, left field moments that comes out. Like when Rough Ride started, I think I was on the other side of the room doing whatever, and suddenly I stopped and I thought, wait, what just happened? What did we do?
Fantastic. Oh, that's great. That's exactly the sort of reaction I like.
Yeah, where did that come from? Where does that concept and all of that part of the conversation come from on a song like that?
Say on Rough Ride, we had worked with the choir. They were on a reality TV show. They're all doctors and nurses, and they work, they work in the hospitals, and they actually have such a great sound. I wanted to do something original with them. And then Cara, who is the opera singer, she's the mum to one of my 14-year-old son's friends. So I met her that way, but I'd heard her sing and thought what an amazing voice she has, and just I'd like to use that energy to propel the song into a different place, And it all came together really. It worked. Everything worked on it, so that was really lovely.
I got to tell you, it took me 2 listens to get it, though. Like I said, that first time is one of those, okay, all right, this is different. This is new.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
Yeah, it's fun. And while we're on the subject of songs, like Albatross was another moment where I sort of just stopped and really enjoyed, the change of pace for something like that.
I'm glad you like that, because that Albatross and Please Be Outstanding were the 2 songs we recorded right at the end of the album when we knew we needed a couple of other things. A couple of things hadn't worked. So yeah, a song like Albatross, it's nice and light, but it's got a certain sort of dynamic and energy to it that works really well.
It's funny how many stories through the years of rock and roll history have been, and that was one of the last songs that we recorded because of something similar like that, and it ends up usually in so many situations being one of the more interesting songs for whatever reason. Yeah, I don't know why that is.
Yeah. I think you just feel freer when you know the end.
I've heard you talk a little bit about Innocence in Paradise, and I think the quote that I pulled down here is a psychedelic take on mortality. Is that right?
Yes, that's exactly it. That song musically had a bit of a strange birth in that, I wrote a song with lots more chords in it, and we ended up stripping away almost all of them. So it became very basic, and in doing so, it gained a power that it didn't have before. The subject matter is, I'm 60 now, so that was a big one. And you think, wow, how did that happen?
That's interesting because it's been one of the favorite subjects of musicians for a long time, and sort of regardless of your age. But I'm sure, the age you're at depends on what angle you come at it from.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I think one of the things about doing this job is that there's a part of you that will always remain, almost childlike, with the enthusiasm for what we do. I've never lost that, and I'm grateful to have that. But, some things don't work as well as they used to. And that's something else to think about.
Yeah, I mean, touring in itself changes the game entirely the older you get,
Yeah, but you know what? This tour that we're on now, both here and in the UK, the shows have been going so well. I can see the audience has come right along with us, and it's like we're getting some of the best reactions we've ever had. We're having some of the best shows we've ever had. It's such a fantastic place to be.
Well, we love watching you out there and kind of keeping up with this. Like I said, I'm just so grateful that you guys have decided to do this, and especially after so long. I mean, there are lots of your peers and contemporaries who have hung it up in various ways, but you still find that creative thread, within the band, and obviously with Chris. I mean, I don't know how long you guys have been writing together at this point. It's over 40 years, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we met. I mean, our relationship has lasted 45 years. I can't believe that.
Longer than most marriages, as they say.
Yeah, well, I think we've had the same amount of bust-ups as some marriages as well. More bust-ups than Liz Taylor and Richard Burton, I think.
Has the way you guys write together, has that changed over the years? Is it different now than it used to be, or is it still sort of the same?
I think it has changed slightly, because in the period of time that Chris and I split up, I started writing lyrics, and that sort of, Chris is predominantly the lyricist, but I have input now on that front, and musically, yeah, it's pretty much the same as it always was. And we still do that thing of working separately. Like, he'll give me lyrics and I'll do a tune. But on a couple of them, I had the initial idea for the lyrics. And
then with member changes as they come and go throughout the years, I'd sort of wonder if that changes the way you feel about it as a band. When you're young, it's sort of you're a gang and, it's us against the world or whatever. But in the sense that you sort of have people come and go, does it still feel like that to you? Is it still a band as a band you would think of?
Yeah, absolutely. It's one thing I know about the various different lineups of Squeeze is that there's no lineup of Squeeze that could sound like this without everyone playing a really important part in the band. So, we've never had percussionists before. We've never had a bass player like Yolanda before. She brings such a lot to the table, and vocally they bring such a lot to the table. It's, and I'm really keen to let whatever lineup of the band it is, to let everyone have their say, and have their room to play. I think that's how it works.
I love hearing what Yolanda's doing out there. I've been watching some of the live fan videos and everything, and it's really cool. It really is.
Oh, she is just amazing. The whole band, she's upped everyone's, musicianship a lot, I think.
Well, again, this record, I'm obviously a fan of, and everything that you guys done. It's really a pleasure to talk to you today, and hopefully I'll be able to catch one of these shows out on the tour too.
Yeah, I really hope we come back to Louisville, because I loved it. I absolutely loved being there.
You're always welcome.
Cool. Thank you very much, Carl. Really enjoyed it.
All right. Take care.
Thanks. Bye.
All right. Bye, Glenn.